Arguably one of the most famous editorials ever written, still the record holder for the most reprinted English newspaper editorial of all time, was published on September the 21st, 1897 in the New York Sun. It didn't address matters of importance in the city, in the country, or even in the world at large. Instead, it was just a response to a letter written by an 8-year-old girl. In September of 1897, that little girl, Virginia Hanlon, was deeply troubled. Some of her school friends insisted that Santa Claus didn't exist. When she went to her father, Dr. Philip F. O'Hanlon, with her concerns, he suggested she write to the Sun, as the family often did. So she wrote a letter, determined to find out the truth. Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia Hanlon. This letter ended up on the desk of veteran Sun writer Francis P. Church, who had worked for the paper for over 20 years. Allegedly, Church bristled and pooh-poohed when his editor handed him Virginia's letter asking him to compose a reply. And yet he produced a masterpiece that became a beloved holiday touchstone by his deadline and in under 500 words. The editorial, which was eventually republished in 20 different languages, certainly hit home with young Virginia and her parents. Virginia recalled during a 1914 interview that it used to make me as proud as a peacock to go along in the street in the neighborhood and hear somebody say, "Oh look, that's Virginia Hanlon. Did you see that editorial the New York Sun had about her?" And father and mother were even prouder than I think. They still show the editorial to callers and just talk people's arms off about it. She also remembered her father, Dr. Hanlon, coming home the morning of the editorial's publication, laden down with copies of the paper. He scattered them all over town, I think. He was so proud. The editorial's message still resonates just as strongly over a century later. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect, as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills this world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus, but even if you did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not, but that's no proof that they are not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders there are unseen and unseeable in the world. You tear apart the baby's rattle and you see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view the picture, the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in this world there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus, thank God. He lives and lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times, 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. And now for a bonus fact. Speaking of letters by little girls, in 1860, the clean-shaven Abraham Lincoln was running for President of the United States. This clean-shaven look was somewhat odd for a man of the age. You see, shortly before Lincoln decided to grow a beard, something of a beard revolution swept the United States, and by the mid-19th century, the formerly predominantly clean-shaven men of America now nearly universally were sporting beards. In fact, one reporter doing a story on the new trend in 1857 walked the streets of Boston, and after counting 543 men that walked by him, found that 62% of them had bushy beards, and all but 4 of the rest had some other type of significant facial hair. Even those 4 that lacked any significant facial hair sported what would later be called sideburns after General Ambrose Burnside. The clean-shaven look that Lincoln at the time was still clinging to was essentially out of style. Needless to say, had Lincoln been running today, his campaign manager would have told him that he needed to grow some facial hair, with most of the voting populace supporting it. Instead of a campaign manager, it was a little girl who clued Lincoln in that he needed to change. The girl in question was 11-year-old Grace Bedell from New York, who sent a letter to Lincoln dated the 15th of October, 1860. Dear Sir, my father has just home from the fair and brought home your picture and Mr. Hamlin's. I am a little girl, only 11 years old, but want you should be President of the United States very much, so I hope you won't think me very bold to write to such a great man as you are. Have you any little girls about as large as I am? If so, give them my love and tell her to write to me if you cannot answer this letter. I have yet got 4 brothers, and part of them will vote for you anyway, and if you let your whiskers grow, I will try get the rest of them to vote for you. You would look a great deal better, for your face is so thin. All the ladies like whiskers, and they would tease their husbands to vote for you, and then you would be president. My father is going to vote for you, and if I was a man, I would vote for you too, but I will try to get everyone to vote for you that I can. I think that rail fence around your picture makes it look very pretty. I have got a little baby sister. She is 9 weeks old and is just as cunning as can be. When you direct your letter, direct to Grace Bedell, West Chautauqua County, New York. I must not write any more. Answer this letter right off. Goodbye, Grace Bedell. Apparently not too busy campaigning to answer the letter of a little girl, Lincoln wrote her back from Illinois on October the 19th, 1860. My dear little miss, your very agreeable letter of the 15th is received. I regret the necessity of saying I have no daughters. I have 3 sons, one 17, one 9, and one 7 years of age. They, with their mother, constitute my whole family. As to the whiskers, have never worn any. Do you not think people would call it a silly affection if I were to begin it now? Your very sincere well-wisher, A. Lincoln. Lincoln had numerous documented instances of self-deprecating jokes concerning his less-than-attractive visage. In one such instance, while publicly debating with his longtime rival Stephen Douglas after Douglas called him two-faced, Lincoln reportedly replied, "If I had another face, do you think I'd wear this one?" Given his attitude about his appearance, it's perhaps not surprising that despite not definitively saying he would grow a beard after replying to Little Miss on October the 19th, 1860, Lincoln's facial hair situation went like this. But this isn't the end of the story. On Lincoln's trip from Illinois to Washington, D.C., the now president-elect made a stop in Westfield, New York on February the 19th, 1861. On the train platform, he related the story behind his decision to grow a beard and asked if the little girl in question was in the crowd. She was, and she approached, at which point, according to Bedell, he said, "Gracie, look at my whiskers. I have been growing them for you." He then kissed me. I never saw him again. After Lincoln, every elected president except William McKinley would sport facial hair. This trend finally ended when Woodrow Wilson took office in 1913. From then on, US presidents have remained clean-shaven. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below and don't forget to subscribe. Brand new videos just like this, well, they're not daily, they're not even semi-regular yet, but if you hit the bell button when you subscribe, you'll actually find out when we put out a new video, so that is pretty handy, so just do that. And I'll see you next time.